Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon. Yes, it is. Sorry. Just want to quickly chat about yesterday's games. I am having wine and it is rosé, but I do enjoy rugby. It's possible. Ask the French. Sorry, it's a silly joke. So I couldn't watch the earliest games of the weekend. Just want to mention Fiji beating Scotland, good for them. Shows maybe a possible lack of depth in Scottish rugby, and a good morale booster for Wales to beat Japan 31-22. And then New Zealand beat France, what you should probably refer to as a B team, 43-17. A lot of debate around France sending a team like that and what it does to test rugby, but New Zealand, the All Blacks needed a resounding victory, and that's what they got. A lot of guys worth mentioning in that game. What I would like to say about the style of play of the All Blacks is that they played their normal fast-paced game and very, very good support runners, and the ball being shifted as much as possible, being kept alive as much as possible, and the speed of play and the support play was what struck me as very, very good in that match, which reminded you sort of All Black rugby of old. I thought Tupavai was very good. Adi Savia, very good try scorers in the game. Bowden Barrett, Geordie Barrett. Geordie Barrett is sort of becoming the glue that holds the whole backline together, if you ask me. Not much you could say about the French team. There were quite a few changes. They still did well to score 17 points in the game, and it shows you their depth and class. But I think this will do New Zealand rugby the world of good. All Blacks rugby is that they won the game, and they won it well, as you should, against a French team who wasn't at their best, at their strongest. So good for them. And then obviously the game I had the most interest in, I'd leave for last. Ireland played Portugal, obviously also an Irish, like sort of a B team, and they beat Portugal 106-7, which is, I think the style of play and the depth that Ireland has, if they play a weaker nation, they just absolutely destroy them, as we see with Leinster in the URC. And then Uruguay beat Romania 78, which is also quite a huge score. And then England, also a team with missing quite a few guys playing for the British and Irish Lions, beating Argentina at home is actually shows a lot of what Borthwick has done and how far they've come. It was a very, very good win away from home against this very strong Argentina side, and a well-coached Argentina side, a side that's done well in the rugby championship. So England rugby definitely on the right track. And I mean, they shows their depth as well, missing a few players, like I said. A scrappy game. I thought I couldn't watch all of the game. It was a bit late, but I watched most of it. And the ball changed hands quite often, changed possession quite often. So a lot of mistakes, a lot of knock-ons. And but a very fast pace, a relentless pace. I didn't think that they would be able to keep it up. But a very, very good away win, I must say. And then the game that I really obviously showed interest in, as being a Springboks fan and South African, was Springboks against Italy, which is also a game that the Springboks really needed after a bad week last week, where the Springboks won, but they didn't play their best rugby. A few notable things to mention in the match. Obviously, started off really well. Edward van der Merwe was really good. I thought also the intensity at breakdown, even though The Italian number 7, again, had a brilliant game. Yes, I should know his name, but I don't. Had a brilliant game, and he stole a lot of balls, and he's definitely one to watch for the future. He's a superstar in the making. So the breakdown again was not great, but better than last week. I thought Brace managed it a little bit better than it was managed last week, and he started off early in the game. As soon as someone ended up on the wrong side by accident, he penalised it. And the Springboks were looking good after scoring tries early on through Grant Williams and then Edwin van der Merwe, 2 in a row. I thought, here we go, this is going to be nice. A big score, as you should, against a B team, an Italian B team. But then a moment of silliness by Jasper Wiese, and you could look at it in lots of different ways. You could say head contact is something that happens in rugby, and guys grabbing each other and pulling and tugging and this and that, and it's happened before without even a penalty. But the letter of the law states if there's deliberate head contact, it's a red card. So just stay out of it. I mean, don't give the referee a reason to give that red card. So a bit of a dampener on the game. The whole thing about the 2 Wiese brothers being on the field at the same time didn't happen because Jasper then got a red card in the game. But it sort of seemed as if it just motivated the Springboks more. They have the plan of playing Andre Esterhuizen, who is an inside centre, on the flanker. So we scrummed with 8 men. Unfortunately, Thomas de Toy had to leave the field for Oxenchair. The only reason I could think was that Ox is a very good ball carrier. I think that's why they wanted that, and maybe fresh legs in the scrum because we lost a specialised forward. But we were good in the scrums. I would say dominant probably is a good term for that. And then basically carried on, played really well. I thought the backline play was fluent, few silly mistakes, few balls kicked out on the full and so on, but Kane and Moody scored a brilliant try close to the try line, showed his strength, power, speed, big unit. A good try by Marks, Mapimpi, and I thought Jan-Hendrik Wessels played really, really well, except for the line out throws, finding the jumpers, which was a mess in the second half, which is something that they'll have to work hard on if they're going to keep using him as a backup hooker. Which I don't know, that's something that needs to be figured out, whether he's a hooker or a prop. But in general, I didn't think that there was anyone who had a bad game. Grant Williams, brilliant. The whole forward pack, Ruan Urkia, an absolute workhorse. Murat did the basics well, a little bit quiet maybe, but in general, everyone. Marco van Staden, massive, huge, had a huge game. Peter Steff coming back in, also played well, good work rate. In the back line, centres very good, Kane and Moody, wingers good on both sides, and Veli a little bit up and down, but what a moment for him in his 100th test match. Okay, and then innovation, call it what you will, deliberately taking a scrum at the kickoff and then conceding the free kick. But yeah, it's things that nobody thinks of. People can go crazy, Matt Williams, whoever, but nobody else thinks of these things. Doing the sort of jumper in the middle of the field, one led to a penalty, and that creates a more. One led to a penalty, and one led to a try. So probably law changes coming that you're not allowed to lift a player in open play. But it's things that Rassie thinks of. Having a former referee as part of the team, sitting in the box, thinking of these things. I can ask him, can we do this? Or is it legal? Is it within the laws? You know? And he thinks of things that no one else thinks of. And I thought it was great that it was a shutout, that after conceding tries, unnecessary tries last week, Italy didn't score a single point, which I thought was great. And shows the depth again, and getting back to being on the right track. Definitely. Okay, so good watch, good weekend of rugby. Notable mention for the Lions against an Australian-New Zealand combination team, which they won well as well. Yes, can't remember, in the 40s as well, I think 47-0 or 48-0. Played really, really well, and they're just getting better and better, and trouble for Australia, if you ask me. Okay, that's it. Cheers.